Good morning and welcome to Enterprise Weekend right here on Enterprise Television. As you unwind from the week, we've got you some fantastic lineup to keep you relaxed and very much informed. Whether you are at home or on the go, join us for this insightful discussion. So sit back, relax, and enjoy a perfect blend of top stories like we would love to start your weekend right about now. So if you are yet to be part of our community, please do so by following us across all social media platforms at Enterprise TV7, and kindly do visit our website at enterprisetvnews.com. I am Henry E. Kwebike, and with me today in the studios to do justice to all we have for our newspaper review segment, and if possible, go on to our main conversation today is Emeka Madunago, a journalist and a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Emeka.
Yeah, good morning and
welcome to Enterprise.
Weekend.
Happy weekend, yes, to you and to everyone. So let's kick off our newspaper headlines today with the first daily we have on our table, and this coming from the Saturday Independent newspaper. And the big story here says Nigeria's religious industry what may exceed 500 trillion naira by 2024. And the writer here says growing on gains by kleptocratic leading class reports and no data yet on the industry's size, contributions to nations' GDP, or just need to stop commercializing spiritual services. And on the top strip of the same newspaper, we have Iwanyanwu's exit creates a deep void in nations' landscape, and that's coming from NPAN. And on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, attempt to sabotage Dangote refinery, red flag to foreign investors group warns an appeal. And that's basically an appeal to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And right below that, and right above that particular story, we have police to deploy 4,200 officers for August 1 protest in the FCT. And let's talk about this issue of what they have labeled as Nigeria's religious industry, which they said would worth more than 500 trillion naira by 2024. Please speak to that.
I think that was just somebody's opinion that was put as, the lead magazine, the lead story for the magazine cover. What is religion? Religion is a mission of your personal beliefs.
Yeah, but it's
so if you're talking about religion, then you're talking about all of us, 200 million Nigerians, whether those who believe in who are Christians, Muslims, animists, atheists, whatever. It speaks to everybody. Let me tell you. You see, the idea that we can put a figure to religious pursuits, I think it's just like winking in the dark, because it all boils down to personal beliefs, personal ideas, personal conviction.
Yeah, personal conviction, but how about when such personal conviction is being remoted by a particular individual? Like it is said here on one of the writer, that growing gains by kleptocratic leading class. And if you take a look at what we have today in Nigeria, where a particular individual who starts up a religious body in less than a couple of years after, he owns almost everything, while people who made it possible for him are going home with nothing. Don't you think that's a source of concern?
Well, I would like to say one thing. One, religious inclination is personal. It's by choice. Nobody puts a gun to your head and says, except maybe in areas where you have terrorists, nobody puts a gun to anybody's head to say you must be in this church or the other, or in this Islamic body, or you must worship idols or all those things. Nobody. That's one. Now, a lot of these religious leaders just, when we now boil it down to religious leaders, it's all about taking advantage of goodwill. Yes, because they, say things that resonate with their followers.
Even if some of them are funny.
How are they funny? There was a video where I saw people at a vigil pounding furiously, pounding at empty mortars furiously. And the pastor was saying, pound your enemies, pound your enemies. And I didn't see a gun in the pastor's hand. So as far as I was concerned, maybe they were even organizing, maybe it was even a skit. You understand? Because for somebody to forfeit sleep and be engaged in such shows that what that preacher is saying resonates with him. It's his personal belief or her personal belief. So why should I now, try to be a busybody by trying to go and prescribe how people should live their lives?
But don't you think, because the reason why we are very so particular about this issue is when such behavior from people, it's affecting it's affecting the society where we
How
live.
does it affect society?
It affects the society in with regards to when individuals fail to do what they should do and begin to look up to things they shouldn't be looking up to.
Okay, fine. Let us just do it this way. You see, the media should also try to, take it easy on some of the terms we use. Kleptocratic. It's not really saying anything. Just say, if you want to say thieving class or looters or whatever, call it that way. But when you say kleptocratic, you're just trying to confuse people. Now, that being said, I think the summation of what they're saying is that the mismanagement of the nation's resources has pushed people into the hands
Of
or the arms of exploiters.
Exactly.
Who use religion to hoodwink the people. I think we can break it down, make it easier for people to understand. You see, in every country of the world, you have people who take advantage of helpless and hapless people. You and I, we've made good use of our education. So no politician or religious leader or whatever can take advantage of us. In certain countries, you have what you call shamans, people who, fortune tellers, and they're highly patronized, even by the politicians.
So do you
know these countries, card readers, people who look into crystal balls and all of that. So what I'm saying is this. You cannot say that because the politicians have mismanaged the economy, then people have been pushed into religion. Because why? If their resources have been depleted as a result of the mismanagement of the economy, where are they now getting the resources that enable some of these religious leaders to live flamboyant lifestyles? So that's why I boil it down again to personal choice. Personal choice. Yes, you find out that there are certain ethics that we ought to build from the home. I don't believe, for instance, when somebody should be at work on a Monday morning, you are at a religious event. I don't believe it. But, I believe you should be heading to work, you should be contributing to the economy and all of that. But, well, it all boils down to a personal choice. If I choose to head to work, somebody chooses to head to a factory, somebody chooses to head to, their business in the market, and somebody chooses to go to a religious center, well, it's all choices.
Well, if you talk about it being a choices, so which means it's okay to give thumbs up to cybercrime, actors, who do defraud people, because it's a personal choice. If someone comes up to you and tells you that, hey, this is something I would love to invest in and all that, it's a personal choice if you love to invest in it, which is also the same thing with the religious bodies too.
No. Absolutely, that is wide of the mark. What I'm saying is this: choices have consequences. And so, for the fact that we are rational beings, we must deploy our senses, our education, our exposure, to pursuits that will, enable us, you understand, to do better in life. You understand? I'm a Christian. But you see, I will not, in the pursuit of my Christian beliefs, fail to realize that I must be engaged in honest economic endeavor. I must not forget that there are ethics by which my profession as a journalist, my profession, journalism, runs. I must not forget that there are laws guiding human conduct, human affairs in Nigeria and across the world. So when I tell people certain things, for instance, that, do you know that so and so? Oh, they argue. Why? Out of ignorance. Those engaging in cybercrime those engaging in terrorism, those engaging in kidnapping, insurgency, these are, or whatever, even deception, using religion to deceive people, to defraud people. Those are criminals. It has to be said clearly. But it all boils down to one thing. Choices. The choices we make, they have consequences. So you cannot say, okay, for instance, the religious leader asked me to donate my car.
And you did it.
And then I willingly
did that.
donated it. And then I now had an epiphany moment, a Damascus moment. And then I just said, oh, wait a minute, I shouldn't have done that. All pastors are thieves. Oh, no. I don't work with that generalization. That is fallacy of hasty generalization. The simple thing is this. If you make a choice to donate your time, your resources, even yourself, to another individual for that person's own, in pursuit of that person's selfish intentions, you are to blame. It's about choices.
And the government has no right the government has no right to defend your mistakes.
No. You see, the government cannot come to your house and tell you how to lie down on your bed. There is this English saying that as you make your bed, so you lie on it. The government will not come and tell children, face your books. It's the role of the parents. So what I'm saying is this. Looking at what the story is saying, that by so and so year it will get to, the value of the industry will get to so and so. Yes, that is one side of it. But look at the other side of it. There are a lot of ministries, Christian, Islamic, that take care of people, take care of widows, take care of orphans, take care of, the helpless in society. They are paying school fees of children. They are feeding people. They are doing a lot of things. How many times do we in the media also highlight those things? How many? So we only look at the flamboyant side. Okay, the pastors have private jets. How many pastors? I was engaged in an argument with somebody, but he now told the typical Nigerian fashion and started insulting me. I said, you see, when you don't have an, just be very careful before you raise something. Know that there are people who will judge what you put and tear it to pieces if it's worthless. So it's a very simple thing. I think whether our political leaders or whatever, religious leaders or traditional rulers, even traditional rulers are also a part of the problem. We must be careful the choices we make.
All right, very good. We must be careful of the choices that we make. Now let's move on to our guest today, coming from the Guardian newspaper. And the big story here says, why new babies' access to exclusive breastfeeding remains poor. And that's on page 8 of the Guardian newspaper. And on the top strip of the same newspaper, we have Tompolo implores Nigerians to shelve proposed nationwide protest. Emeka, don't you think that this is hilarious? Knowing that Tompolo himself makes about 4 billion naira.
It's ridiculous.
Every single month.
It's utterly contemptuous of the Nigerian people. Tompolo, come on. You see, we joke a lot in this country. This is a country where in many instances, you can't make a distinction between the educated and uneducated. The opinion of people who are widely traveled, well-educated, you just see sometimes such opinion is not different from that of the uneducated tire repairer by the side of the road. Why? Because people don't deploy their education, their learning, their knowledge. They don't deploy to real-life situations. That's why you see somebody like Tompolo will organize, when he was a militant, will organize youths. Go and fight. Go and bomb pipelines.
To protest, of course.
Go and do this. That was even more than protest. That was an insurgency. And then people want to come out and protest. Tompolo, who is well fed. Oh God. These people are really, they are unfeeling, they are unthinking, they are heartless. Let Teokolo tell us what he has done as an individual, earning 4 billion every month, to make the lives of even his immediate community, even the Niger Delta, better. There are stories. There are stories of, you see, people, private individuals. I know, yes, government job to provide for the safety and well-being of the people, like the Constitution says. But private individuals who have been blessed, who have resources, who have abundant resources, they can also play a role in changing the lives of people, in making the lives of people around them better. Let me give an example of myself. I'm sorry, pardon me. But in my area, I also moved to a place where I was building my house. And then I said, wait a minute, that how are we going to now live here in darkness? I used my influence as journalist, did letters and all of that. And the area got a transformer, got cables and poles. Who am I? Who am I? What do I have? But the point is that I felt I could use my influence, you get, for greater good. And then I also mobilized communal effort. And we fixed a 2-kilometer road that made commuting to the nearest expressway shorter. These are the things that we as individuals can do using our influence in our little corners, lighting up our little corners, not telling people to go and protest. Because you find out that these things we are talking about protest, even when we sit at this table to talk and we talk against wrong policies, are we not protesting? When people reject bad policies, are they not protesting? Tom Polo is engaged in protecting pipelines. Is he not protesting against the bad policies of government that made the pipelines vulnerable? So the point is that in Nigeria, because we love this bandwagon way of thinking. Somebody says, oh, protest is wrong. But you've even forgotten the fact that as you sit, I had to educate somebody on Facebook. Don't protest. Governor said no. I said, do you know, even the governor, if you decide if you ask the police, please go and stop criminals working against, who are operating in such an environment, you are protesting against crime. So can you say stop them? That means you're telling people, just die. What is a protest? Go to the dictionary. But Nigeria, we love bastard. Anything, everybody takes it. Sheriff protest. What are you talking about?
All right. So finally, just before we wind up for today, last day is coming from the Nation newspaper, and the big story here says IGP, foreign mercenaries involved in planned protest. And Shetima, this isn't time to protest but solve problems. Rivers crisis cause stop speed PDP Damagong from conducting Congress. Emeka, this issue of foreign mercenaries being involved in the planned protest, is this supposed to be an action to stop the planned protest by the IGP, or is this real? Should they take this and lie low, or could this be a measure to...
You see, one of the things I've discovered in this country is that eye service is a big problem. Protests against the thing that even Tinubu, as the president, has acknowledged that are real. You are saying everybody in the security circle. I'm even waiting for civil defense to say their own, for vigilantes to say their own. Everybody's now, instead of for you to have an interagency coordination. If you're holding a press conference, let the security chief sit at one table and then have a coordinated response. No, DSS is saying their own. The police is saying their own. Nigerian ministry is saying their own. Who are we to hear from? Oh, some people want to overthrow Tinubu. Some people want to do it. All just eye service. Because you want to please to show the president you are working. Okay, so what about the kidnappers on the road? What are they? They are local mercenaries. What about the terrorists? ISWAP, Boko Haram, are they local terrorists? What about the herdsmen who have driven over 2 million Nigerians into IDP camps? Who have driven farmers out? What about those in Plateau who have driven young farmers out from Plateau, from Benue, who have taken over villages and renamed them? Are they local mercenaries or what? You see, this idea that you can deflect blame, foreign mercenaries, just take one word from nowhere. That is a sign that we are not serious. If people are going to, I was in Washington DC 2 weeks after September 11, after the 9/11 attacks. I was in Washington DC, and then what happened? I was in my hotel room watching TV, and then when President George Bush sent American fighter jets to bomb certain locations in Afghanistan, within seconds of the news, breaking news, so started happening. People poured out on the streets. Anti-war protesters poured out on the streets. Went to the White House. They poured out on the streets that no, America should not get involved in war. No, this was how we went to Vietnam, and we are thoroughly disgraced. We lost a lot of men. No, we don't want war. No, this sort of thing. Were there foreign mercenaries in that? In all countries of the world, people protest in one way or the other. Protests go on regularly. Was it in America some days ago? There are protests. There are protests regularly all over the world. All over the world, there are protests everywhere. Nobody comes out to say foreign mercenaries. Nobody comes out to try and blame the people. This gaslighting, bringing out videos and see people rushing food. Oh, Nigerians, if we still have a conscience, let us be mindful. Listen, when Babangida and Abacha were doing all their funny games, we said it clearly that they should remember what goes around comes around. Look at Abacha's family now fighting over oil wells that they felt was their family right, their family heritage. Now those oil wells have been seized by the federal government. And then what happened? The other day, the Minister of State for Oil, Henneke Lokobiri, was telling Abacha's son that those oil wells you are claiming they belong to the federal government. Let our consciences, let this thing called conscience, let it be alive. Because when you justify evil, be careful, because actions have consequences. Choices have consequences. That's all I have to say.
Very true. That's so apt. Just like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said on one of our newspaper headlines, that of course he is not denying the fact that he once led or organized a protest, but of course the ones he did were non-violent. Well, I just hope that
let him come and lead you. Let him come and lead you.
I just hope that Nigerians would heed to that, and of course make the August one non-violent also. Well, this is just about the size of our package for this particular segment. We have to say thank you to Emeka Ahmadu Nagun, just to let you know that he will be around to take us on our main conversation also for today. But that is when we return. INEC assures the National Assembly of capacity to conduct the local government election starting a bit. Please don't go anywhere.